Right, so with gun control still being a very hot topic in the news, I wanted to make another video about it because I just came across this on social media. So again, I wanted to make a video about it. Now, it is a chart from Statistics Canada, and it's measuring um, homicide rate in yellow for the total rate. The green line is the homicide rate for just firearms, and then the blue is the restricted and prohibited firearms ownership. So basically, I mean, it's very obvious if you look at it, but I'll sum it up in general. Over the 10 year, or sorry, it's a 12-year period roughly. Um, the restricted and prohibited firearms went up from about 650,000 to about 1 point, almost 1.2 million. So the restricted and prohibited firearms pretty much doubled. And over that period of time, the murder rate with guns literally went up. It looks like it's actually almost the exact same, to be honest. The overall the overall homicide rate is actually down slightly, but again, we're literally splitting hairs here. It's the difference between like 1.8 and 1.7. Like that's literally the difference here. You're literally splitting hairs. That could be like that's like within the range of a rounding error. So, in other words, the homicide rate and the firearms homicide rate was not affected, even though there is 600,000 more, almost 600,000 more restricted and prohibited firearms in circulation, basically. So, if the leftist theory is correct, I mean, one of the things that they constantly argue is that if you really know what you're talking about, even if you kind of know what you're talking about, you'll inevitably stump them. You'll inevitably prove the vast majority of the anti-gun arguments wrong, and then they'll retreat to, oh, if we increase gun control, it would save some lives or a small amount of lives. You have to admit that. Well, that's not even the case. That's not even the case because look at this chart. The problem that they don't acknowledge, and the easiest point to debunk that is number one, stuff like this, and number two, the idea that I've put out, made videos about before and incited before, is that gun owners are not any more likely. There's some studies saying they're less likely, some saying that they're the same, but I've yet to see one where they're more likely. Almost every study I've seen shows they're actually less likely to commit murder than the average everyday citizen. So the problem is that that argument doesn't make any sense because if you actually want, and this is the thing too, I've listened to over the last couple of weeks because I've wanted to brush up on this topic even more. I've listened to a lot of interviews about gun control with not only just like the everyday people on YouTube, but cops, people that are in the industry that would come across this kind of stuff every day. And the thing that pretty much every one of them points out is that, especially in Canada, because our gun issue is a little bit different than the states, and that I mean it's similar to how you would cut down, but the difference is that the amount of guns and the gun laws are a lot different in the states. So that I mean that's the one different. But if you really want to reduce crime, well, what you need to do is you need to spend more money on like the gangs units of these big cities, and you need to invest in programs that prevent largely young men from ending up in gangs and in the drug trade. The problem with that is, I mean, there's several problems. The first one being is that um, there's no guarantee that if you implement a system like that it's going to work. Like you might spend, lots of money and it may not even do anything, or it may only have a very small effect. So that's the first problem. But the even bigger problem is that to implement a program like that, it's probably going to take 10, 15, maybe 20 years for the results and the positive effects of a program like that to show up. So what people say, oh, well, it's still worth it. But the problem is that governments tend to get one, maybe two terms, like three if they're really lucky terms. So we're talking anywhere from about 4 to 12, 13 years if they're lucky. So chances are that the positive effects of a policy like that wouldn't show up until the next administration. And not only that, too, MPs are a lot of times even more likely too. There's even more turnover between MPs sometimes too. So the people are skeptical, and again, people try to debate this too, but again, it's just not the case, right? Like it's not the case. Like I mean, look at the thing in the States too. Just take this as the good example is that when the economy was doing good in the States, it was, oh, people say, all these lefties, oh, it's because of Obama. Obama implemented all these bad policies, or all these good policies. And then when it was doing bad, and like right now, people, all of a sudden it's Trump's fault again. So this is the problem, that I don't think it was good largely because of Obama. I mean, it was okay because of Obama. I don't think it was terrible. It wasn't exactly good. It was kind of so-so. Um, but with Trump, I mean, you just look at the numbers too. The numbers were clearly better under Trump, and I mean, it clearly wasn't because of Obama. Because if he was doing so good, why didn't he do it while he was in office? I mean, he had 8 years. It's not like he only had four. Even if you have four, you still should be able to improve the economy. But anyway, getting back to the main topic here, that's one of the reasons why the government doesn't want to do stuff like this, is that the effects will take so long that by then they'll be out of office, and they won't get credit for it, because that's one of the main things that these governments want. Now again, do I want it to be that way? Do I wish it would be different? Yeah, but it's just the reality. So, like I say, if you actually want to reduce crime, that's the first thing you, like I say, you would spend more money on these gang units. You would stop cracking down, stop having cops spending all their days giving, I mean, you have to do it to some degree to fund it, but stupid, frivolous, like, going like 111 in a 100 zone and crap like that, like, doing, 81 in a 70 zone and crap like that. And like stupid, like say, all the completely unnecessary things that have no effect on public safety. And again, people debate that, but no, the red light cameras, lower speed limits, most of the time do not improve public safety. A lot of people will argue that, but that's been completely proven to be false. So that's what should be spend more money on. And rather than spending a lot of this money, and you may not even have to cut other budgets, you can take money from some of these completely unnecessary projects. A lot of government workers are completely unnecessary. You can either lay those people off, or when they retire, then just not hire someone else and put that money towards helping out the actual people that are vulnerable. The other thing too is that this should be something that's completely nonpartisan too. That you'd think everybody would be on board for something like this. The problem, like I say, is that the right, I think it comes from, they definitely have a lot of the, we don't want it to be um, someone else to get credit for our good policy. And the left, they have a degree of that too, and they also have the degree of, we need people to be reliant on us, because the minute people aren't reliant on us to get by, all of a sudden they don't feel like they need the government anymore. All of a sudden they don't feel like they need massive amounts of government power to get through their day and to survive, basically. So that's kind of the reasons why. I mean, there's other reasons too, but like I say, if you really want to prevent crime, that's what you would do. Anybody who proposes increasing gun control, you can tell one of two things is going on. I mean, usually both. Um, they have no idea what they're talking about, because again, we know gun control doesn't work. Charts like this just show it. Again, I made several videos about this. There's no debate on the topic. Um, and they usually have bad intentions, in that they know it won't work, therefore they'll just use it as an excuse to grab more power after. That's, like I say, that's what the end game is here with the whole gun control in Canada. Anybody thinking that they're going to stop, I mean, they're already going after shotguns, they're already going after some bolt actions, like people saying, oh, they're just going after the scary assault weapons. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. And like, and the thing too is that I've made several videos about it. We have police chiefs, we have charts like this, we have experts in the field saying it's going to make no difference. So what's the end game here? Why would they spend billions of dollars to do something that makes no difference? It's because they want everything to be banned. And when this doesn't work, their excuse will be, oh, we didn't go far enough. And it's like I always mention, but people never listen. So, um, like I say, that's the end game. I bet you within the next 5 years or so, assuming the Liberals get reelected, they'll call for. I mean, the first thing will be allowing. I mean, they're already doing it or trying to do it in some areas. They'll allow cities to ban handguns, and then when that doesn't work, because we know it won't work, I would bet every dollar I have that it won't have a significant impact on crime. Um, then they'll say, oh, we need an outright ban because it's not working. And then when that doesn't work, they'll start going after knives and like stuff like they're doing in the UK because it's never enough. It's never enough with them. So anyway, like I say, with all this craziness going on with gun control in Canada, I wanted to continue to make videos exposing the truth. And like I say, stuff like this just proves my points that I've been saying all along. There's no evidence that increased gun control, more gun ownership, actually, more gun ownership leads to more crime. There's no evidence that more gun control means less crime. That's not the case. That's not the case. So anyway, if you liked the video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Check out my PayPal and email. I got linked in the description. Again, appreciate any donations, but at the very least, just hit that like and subscribe. And last couple things, as always, check out my BitChute if you haven't already, and check me out on Twitter as well if you haven't already. Again, everything's in the description, so you can find it all there.